What a pleasant day to be with you again, my dear grade 7. Did you had your breakfast already? Where have you been these past few days, or what did you do these past few days? Do you still remember me? Well, I am Mom Janice Rigon, and I am a pre-service teacher for today. Before we start, this is our planet. Do you know the present condition of Earth? Did you know that it is in damaged state and under threat from dangers? Threats including greenhouse gases, droughts and floods, hunger, famine, and devastating diseases? Before we proceed to our lesson, let us first feel the presence of God and pray. Dear Lord, thank you for another day of our lives and for keeping us safe. May you be with us as we study and learn our lessons. And also, Lord, grant us the wisdom to care for the earth until it. Help us to act now for the good of future generations and all your creatures. Help us to become instruments of a new creation, founded on the covenant of your love. We ask all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Okay, to proceed, I will no longer enumerate the classroom rules that we have during our synchronous class. However, I will remind you of two particular things. First is to please submit your outputs on or before the deadline given to you. And second is to do not forget to enjoy while learning. Okay, so let's have a short recap. What was our last lesson last time? Yes, last time I taught you on how to compose a travelogue. It involves pre-writing, drafting, checking, and revising. The benefit that we get from writing a travelogue is that the memories and experiences that we have during our trip or travel is preserved by this form. It is more than just a picture itself, but it is more meaningful and is more detailed in nature. Is that clear? Okay, let's proceed. Next, answer any of these questions. In my case, I ate an apple for breakfast. Let's take a look at my sentence. Now, can you tell what is the tense of my sentence? Again, I ate an apple for breakfast. Yes, it is in past tense. Our clue word here is the verb used, ate, which is the past tense of the verb eat. Did we have the same observation? Very good. So, are you still familiar with tense or tenses? Whatever your answer is, let's refresh our memory on what tense is about. You may now have your pen and paper while we talk about it. So, tense indicates the time when an action or event occurs. In English, we have three main tenses, namely past tense, present tense, and future tense. Familiar, isn't it? Present tense tells us something that is happening right now, meaning it is a current matter or topic. Past tense tells us something that has already happened, meaning the action is already done. Future tense tells us something that is about to happen later in the future. Is that clear? The concept of tenses is reflected on the way we use verbs. What are verbs? These are words that expresses action, a process, a state or condition, or a mode of being. These verbs are modified or conjugated depending on which tense we are using. Let's have this example. You can see the different forms of the verb examples shown in this table. Next, these tenses has 4 distinct forms. Each of them could be simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. For past tense, we have simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and lastly, past perfect continuous tense. Let's refer at the table showing the examples. Observe the form of the verb used, play. We can see evidently the changes in each sentence for each form of the tense. Let's have another set of examples. Focus on the past column of past tense. The verb used was upload. For simple past tense, we have he uploaded videos on YouTube. We can see the simple past tense form of the verb upload, which is uploaded. For past continuous, we have he was uploading videos on YouTube. See the form of the verb with ing indicating that the process was continuous, and the auxiliary verb was indicates that it already happened in the past. For past perfect tense, we have he had uploaded videos on YouTube. Again, the past tense of the verb upload, which is uploaded, and then the auxiliary verb had was used, which indicates that the action is totally done, perfect in the past. For the past perfect continuous, we have he had been uploading videos on YouTube. Here, the auxiliary verbs had and been were used together. This is to indicate that the action is continuous although it happened in the past. Finally, we will now start with our topic for this lesson, which is about past and past perfect tenses. Take note of this. The objective is that at the end of the discussion, you should be able to first determine past and past perfect tenses and how to use it. Construct sentences using past and past perfect tenses, and explain the importance of past and past perfect tenses in daily communication. When we say past, we are pertaining to the time before now. Specifically, the time of past can be yesterday, last weekend, last week, last month, last year, and so on. Are we clear with that? Alright, so our focus for today is the two aspects of past tense, specifically the simple past and past perfect tense. This image shown is a table showing the spelling rules that is essential to keep in mind, especially now that we are talking about past tense. For regular verbs, this is how they are modified or conjugated, or how they transform to be in the simple past tense form. For verbs ending in E, we add D. See in the example. For verbs ending in vowel plus Y, we add ED. For verbs ending in consonant, we change Y to I and add ED. For those with one syllable, single vowel, and ending in consonant, we double the final consonant and add ED. See in the example. For those with two syllable and the stress on the second syllable and ending in single consonant, we double the final consonant and add ed. See again in the example. However, that is only for regular verbs. The change is so simple and not confusing. On the other, we have irregular verbs. Unlike with regular verbs, many changes occur when forming the past tense of irregular verbs. Sometimes the vowel changes, sometimes the pronunciation changes, and sometimes there seems to be a pattern, but there are always exceptions. Here are samples of irregular verbs. It is shown here how the present form is changed into its past tense form. At times, we can also apply the rules or spelling rules we identified earlier. We may add d, ed, change y to I, then add ed, and etc. Yes, it might be confusing, but don't be discouraged. Okay? Just practice and you will master it at no time. Now, simple past or past simple tense is a verb of sentence that tells about an action that happened in the past or one that occurred completely in the past. Here, the subject comes before the verb. The verb must be in its past simple form, followed by the object or the object clause. Here is the pattern: subject plus verb in its simple past tense plus object or the object clause. Let's try this. Our task is to fill in the blank with the verb inside the brackets. We will change these verbs into their simple past tense form. For number 1, did we have the same answer? Very well, class! Now that is only for simple past tense. I have a tip for you. In changing the verbs, you may try hearing the verb with the sentence itself. Sometimes you will find it confusing, but usually the correct verb sounds good to hear when used in the sentence, and that is based on my personal experience. Let's now move forward to our next topic, past perfect tense. Look at the illustration. You can see the 2 points in the past. The one that happened earlier in past before another particular action happened also in the past is the past perfect that we are pertaining to, meaning it happened before something else happened in the past. So for past perfect tense, we use the helping verb had before the verb. The verb is in past perfect form. As shown, the pattern or format is the subject comes first, followed by had and the verb in its past participle form. For example, I had emailed the manuscripts before he called. She had studied many hours before the exam started. Another one, we use the helping verb been after had when using the verb to be in the past perfect tense. To be verbs are used to describe or tell us the condition of people, things, places, and ideas. The pattern followed is subject plus had plus been plus the object clause. For example, she had been late to class several times before she got suspension. His father had been nice in the past. Is everything clear? Okay, so let's move forward. These are just additional reference for you to look at. Let's skip this for now. In case you are confused between past tense and past participle, here we go. Past tense is a tense, while the past participle is a specific verb form, which is the third form, to be exact, used in the past and present perfect tense. Past participle is not a tense. Rather, it is used together with these tenses. This plays an important role, for it can't be used alone, so it is commonly used as compound verb. Without it, the sentence would remain in the past tense form. Look at these samples. Alright, let's wrap it up and test your memory. Answer these questions. What is past tense? How about past perfect tense? What are the formulas or sentence formation of these tenses? Do you think knowing this will help you on your daily communication, and why? Let's review the answers. Past tense is one of the three main tenses. It tells actions that happened in the past. It has four distinct forms: simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and perfect continuous. In this lesson, we focused on simple past and past perfect tense. Simple past tense is said to be the easiest form. We only need to use the past tense of the verb. Next, past perfect tense tells action that was done or happened before something else happened in the past. Here, helping verbs had and been are used, and the verb form is in its past participle. Now, what is shown is the formula or sentence formation for simple past tense: subject plus verb plus object. Next, for past perfect, there are two sentence formation: subject plus had plus the verb. And for the verb to be, the formation is subject plus had plus been plus the object clause. Are tenses important on our daily communication? Well, definitely yes. Tenses are essential in our lives, especially in our language. Each tense indicates the connection between two or more time period or the exact time an activity occurred. This enables us to be exact and clear with our messages, thoughts, and ideas that we want to convey. It contributes to the chronology, appropriateness, exactness, completeness of details we need. The success of communication would be very difficult if we don't have or do not know about these tenses and how to use them in our language. Moving forward, let's see if you can now apply what you've learned from our lecture. The task is to change these sentences in its past tense form. Let's check your answers. Now change them in their past perfect tense. Let's see if your answers are correct. Alright, at your own pace, you may answer this to practice your knowledge. This is your assignment. Finally, we are done. Thank you for listening, and here's a quote for you to remember. And also, let us not forget to help our earth to live longer. And that's all. Thank you.